There's one thing you cannot live without, and that's oxygen. You can live without water for days, you can live without food for days. You don't have gas for about 2 minutes, you're in trouble. So the whole idea of gases and how it interacts with life, it's so fundamental to what we do. I have absolute fascination. Everything I look at, I'm fascinated by, every aspect of it. You know, I talk about this business, and I say from every molecule from the ground up, you know, we built this business. The most important thing we can provide for a customer is when we help them be strategically successful. In other words, to give you a case in point, the bone marrow storage system we designed and installed at the Fred Hutchinson Cancer Research Center.
Okay, let's check the diagnostics of this freezer here. Just go ahead and sure thing.
This is the Fred Hutch Cancer Research Center. We like to think of ourselves as one of the premier centers in the United States and in the world. We have 3,000 outstanding staff here at the center, and 3 of those are Nobel Prize winners. In our freezer farm, we have over 200 freezers. There's a couple things going on in this room, but primarily it's preservation of cells. And to preserve the cells properly, they have to be maintained at minus 185 degrees centigrade.
It has triple redundant alarms. It can run unattended for a month. It's got seismic restraints.
This is absolutely critical to the scientists that their cells and their research be maintained at this temperature, because they've got their life research in these freezers. But perhaps even more important than the scientists having some of their life's research in these freezers, the patients have their bone marrow and things they need for survival in these freezers. So it's absolutely incredibly important that these freezers don't fail on us, that they're properly maintained and the temperature is maintained, so that both we can provide that chance for life that's so critical to the patients, but also we can preserve that long-term research that we need to continue on with.
The doctors will actually take the family's patients into the bone marrow storage system and point at it and say, look, your husband's bone marrow is going to be stored in this Fort Knox-like vault.
I can think of about 10 or 12 different examples of what Byrne has done to really make sure this facility works well. But perhaps the first example is they designed this facility, okay? Byrne is a recognized leader in gas technology, and they brought this facility online, designed it with their own staff, and built much of this facility with their own staff, okay? They built in redundancy and they built in monitoring systems so that we have a foolproof plan that this facility will work all the time. And without the expertise that Byrne Specialty Gas was able to bring to the table, I don't think this facility could have been designed as foolproof as it was. I really believe these scientists are on the verge of some really tremendous breakthroughs in cancer research, and they can't do it by themselves, okay? They need Byrne Specialty Gas, they need this facility to keep up and functional so that their research can go on and continue.
We talk about our company as being engineering gas solutions that help customers succeed. That's our mission statement.
A good analogy is the people that we've congregated together are much like the Blue Angels, if you will. The Blue Angels are a group that, in fact, we studied them and we watched the tape on them and how they are people that are excellent at what they do. They're the top of the game, and when they come together, they have to check their ego at the door, which is tough to do, but every time they go up and they do a flight, they come back and they spend as much time criticizing and analyzing what they did and what they did wrong as the amount of time that they were out flying. And they do that because they know they want to get better. It's a good analogy because we have that's the people that we've got congregated here at Byrne.
Hey, Mark. It's not about just reliability. It's about solutions of customers' problems, helping our customers be successful.
So we're having some challenges with CO2 contamination. Can you run the trace here?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So, all right. So what we're running is this is our FID, flame ionization detector trace.
Right. We're running the calibration gas here right now.
Calibrating it. Okay.
This should be the last run. Should be fine.
How many runs have we did? So
I've done. This is my third run.
Yeah. Okay.
Attention time.
And our whole philosophy of our business is to uniquely tailor our services, our products, all the augmentation of the physical product. We talked about nitrogen is nitrogen is nitrogen. Well, that's a physical product. We're augmenting that physical product with services that are uniquely tailored to each segment we face. For instance, when we go into a laser company facility, we have a laser gas that's mixed specifically for a laser needs and meets the purity specifications for a laser. When we go into a biotech facility, we have cylinders that are super clean so that when they're taken into the lab and a person with a white lab coat walks past it, it won't make their lab coat get dirty. When we go into electronics facility, we have cylinders that are shrink wrapped in plastic and painted pure white. You know, sometimes you talk about customer's customer. We'll have a new company that's a venture-backed company. They'll be bringing in people that are going to invest tens of millions of dollars in this company. Sometimes the worst-looking thing in the whole facility is a gas cylinder. Not in the case when you're buying from Byrne Specialty Gas.
When we take a look at the relationships that we have with our customers, it's about a partnership. We're an extension of their company. And as they're successful, we're successful. We're part of that. And we maintain that relationship on an ongoing basis, daily, weekly, monthly. It's continuous.
I think a lot of companies talk about quality. They talk about it in their mission statement, or they talk about it in their marketing literature. What's more difficult day to day is to really live it and live that commitment, the promise that you make to the customer, that day in and day out, the product inside, the package quality, the documentation, the service is all going to be there for them. And that's what this company has done. It's not rocket science. It's sticking to some very simple values and supporting them with the company culture and the procedures and the training to make sure that that commitment can be delivered on.
Seattle Genetics is developing cancer therapies for things like multiple myeloma and for other bloodborne cancers. And we have a large research staff here who are devoted to making sure that we have the right therapies for patients in the future. We have research staff that are from around the world, and a lot of our staff are PhD scientists, all specialists in their field, all bringing their technological expertise to the problem of cancer, and we do a very good job at it. Part of our operations is that some of the labs require specific custom gases, and those come with a certificate of analysis, so that way the researcher knows exactly what's in that gas mixture. Very important when we're developing drugs, to make sure that those mixes are what they say they are. And Byrne Gases has been doing that flawlessly for years. You know, it's really nice to be able to see these tanks come in time and again that we have spec'd and always know that they're correct.
What we have here is an NMR instrument. NMR stands for nuclear magnetic resonance. And what this instrument does is help us identify some of the small molecules and drugs that we make here in our company. It's an electromagnet, and the electromagnet is supercooled with liquid helium, which in turn, the liquid helium is cooled with the liquid nitrogen that we fill periodically. You can see that the liquid nitrogen is starting to come through. In order for a supermagnet to begin conducting, it has to be cooled to at least 400 degrees below 0 Fahrenheit. And in order to do that, you need something that would sufficiently keep that cool, and that's where liquid helium comes into play. So we need the liquid helium.
Years ago, when we first hired Byrne Gases, we had liquid nitrogen tanks in probably one of the worst areas of the building, down in a parking garage, hard to get to. And they worked out a solution with us to have an automated vacuum insulated pipe delivery system, probably one of the first ones in the coast. And they came in and offered us a solution that really worked well. The nice thing about having a gas service company is that they actually will come in and make sure that you have the right gases at the right time, flawlessly every time. And Byrne Gases has really done that for us.
Everything matters. That's the attitude we have here. You know, the neatness of the paperwork, the paint condition of the cylinder. We've had a great relationship over the years. What do we do? Answering the phone in the third ring, the uniform cleanliness, the trucks. A truck makes 6 million visual impressions a year in one city. And the idea of all those things adding together, that's where the magic is. It's not just one thing, but understanding that all these infinitesimal details add up to an infinite difference. That's part and parcel why we pay attention to every single thing. What you really want is a good strategy, a great strategy, and great execution. And you know, in some ways we got lucky. I mean, I'm the first one to raise my hand and say, you know, I got lucky. Born in America in this time, you know, the space age, all this innovation going on, fertile economy, grew up in a place where my family had a successful business. Furthermore, shows some market segments. You know, biotech, nobody saw it coming. When I started Byrne Specialty Gases, biotech didn't exist. It's a key part of our business. Lasers didn't exist, key part of our business. Now, electronics, I saw that. I could see research and development in a general area. I could see that, but look at the things that are happening in material science today. I'm so excited about the future. We've got nanotechnology. We've got a customer that's working on suspended animation using gases. It's very powerful. There's all these new things on the forefront coming along. They're so exciting. On a personal level, you know, what contribution are we making to the betterment of mankind, if that's the right term? I think there's certain things for which we have a stewardship responsibility. For instance, we store our systems that we design. We design and validate, store human embryos. I mean, what more value can you come up with than that? One of our customers is involved with suspended animation, and he's been able to stop the metabolic rate of consumption of oxygen in animals for up to 2 weeks by using special gas mixtures. The value proposition is tremendous here. If someone's in an accident or an injury and we can get this gas to them right away and stop their blood from needing more oxygen, this is a medical breakthrough bar none. Those are the types of projects where it sends a chill up my spine thinking about our contribution, something that's going to change the way we live. Okay. Measure because it's a gas. Right. Did the person tell you? Our job is to look at the lab.
This is called a bioreactor.
All right, so now when we're doing quality assurance, get back to the medical oxygen. How many cylinders per batch? innovation going